for the course or something. True. It does sound clear. Mhm. True. Well, that's good. I have a mic, but it's just for my laptop for like recording into Ableton and stuff. So I do want to get some of those little mobile ones eventually for my phone. It just hasn't really been a huge priority yet. Oh, nice. Yes, sage is so good. I'll actually light an incense stick now that you mention it. I just went and got the last of my things from my other apartment this morning before the space, like at like 9 a.m., just a couple bins that I had left. So it's cool starting off Monday with a clean slate here in the new spot. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, usually, yeah, you gotta get to that point before it gets to that, right? Like, I don't know. I think I'm a pretty reasonable individual when I'm being spoken to with respect or treated with, proper human decency. But once I get to a certain push past a certain point by somebody, it's sort of just like, well, you're just a stranger to me now. That's just how that works. So, Yeah, that was so funny too, because as I was getting the last couple things, like I got them, and then the person I was like getting them from, like her place, like she started calling me like a bunch of times, like as I was already in the car, like driving back to like my new place, and she started calling me like asking me if I was gone already. I'm like, yeah, like what did you think? Like I'm like, this is like, I'm done. Like, I'm gone. Goodbye. Like, don't call me. I didn't answer, obviously, but it was just funny. Like, you know, people don't understand. It's like you think that you can just like disrespect people and they'll just forget about it, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy to me still that some people think like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just I'm just not that person, you know? Like that's a problem. Like we have a problem, you know? If you feel like you can openly disrespect me, especially if you're supposed to be a family member of mine, like that's not going to happen. Well, you have to. Well, you have to, right? Like, if that's what is self-care for you, and if that's, you know, because it's protecting your energy, right? So that is what it is. It's like, even if that individual doesn't realize that they're harvesting energy by creating unnecessary problems in, you know, your life or the people around them, like I can still recognize that, and I would hope anybody with emotional intelligence would be able to recognize when that's what's happening so that you can free yourself because ultimately, you know, that's all you can do. You can't change somebody else. You can only control yourself, right? So, Well, that's why boundaries are important. Yeah, you have to figure out how you can manage that. Unfortunately, obviously, like with this scenario, is somebody in my family, so it's a little bit more complex to, remove yourself or completely separate from somebody that's, blood related to you or whatever, like especially a sibling. But it's like, at the same time, it doesn't, I think it was also kind of a bigger lesson as well as to like, you know, understanding that just because somebody is, a part of your family doesn't mean that they won't consciously or unconsciously, yeah, drain your energy or, be doing things that are just not like healthy at the end of the day. Because yeah, people are in survival mode and they get into habits and patterns that are unconscious that they behave that way with like other people in their lives, whether it's their friends or their partners or whatever. And because they've lived in this existence for x amount of years where nobody has challenged or sort of not consented to that type of interaction or energy exchange, it becomes a big deal when you do, you know, kind of choose to not partake in that kind of energy exchange because it's not fair and it's not an equal exchange. It is really just, yeah, you're being pulled on. It's like the energetic cords and stuff. That's why we have to do regular cleansing and cord clearing and cutting and all this kind of stuff, right? Especially when we're exposed to, different people that we're not necessarily always as familiar with or, um, whether even if it is family or whoever it is, doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day. I mean, what matters is, each individual's actions. And like I'm part of the group of, people that exist on this planet that have had to sort of remove themselves from, family entanglements and things like that because unfortunately, I'm the youngest of four girls and the only one that really kind of sees me in a way is my oldest sister Tasha, who she has a different dad than me, but we have the same mom. And she's got a couple kids, a couple nieces and nephews, and she's been through a lot of similar things to me at a young age. So, and she's also an artist. So I think like we understand each other a lot in that way. Whereas like the other two middle sisters that I have, we're very different. Like those two sisters in the middle are very much more like material oriented. And we just have different values, I think. And, like I'm just, I just turned 30. And I think they're also just like realizing that they also have to just accept me or be okay with not being in my life because I'm not going to let other people tell me what I should value or how I should live based on their sort of ideas that I don't agree with. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. No, for sure. Yeah, I just you just got to keep it moving, You just keep it moving. Yeah, that's about it. So, I guess we can move along. Where did we leave off last time? Was it page 26? I I think it was page 26. I'm guessing I think it was around there. No, I'm pretty sure it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it was. Um yeah, so I can start going over some of that stuff in that section. I got a little summary going as well here. Um so I can always kind of just read the summary here to kind of start, and then if there's things that we want to go into more specifically, we can kind of do that. Okay, so just to let everybody know, so we're still going through the Architects of Light Indigo workshop from the Keylontic Science database of PDFs and manuals. Well, this is part of that section. Um, I just figured it would be a good place for us to start. And yeah, so we're going to go through a little summary of pages 26 to 33. And then we'll kind of loop back around and discuss, and then we can expand on some sections. It's kind of one of those sections where there's like a lot of diagrams as well, like image diagrams of things. So I just figured it's a little bit easier, more clear to do it this way. So let's see. Okay, so this section has like five main points, and then at the end, I'll kind of just give a brief about how it intertwines with those teachings of like the Emerald Tablets, which is what this is kind of derived from or related to, I should say. Um, so one, the concept of light architecture. So, the term architects of light refers to beings or humans in their higher spiritual capacity who are consciously working with energy grids, templates, and blueprints that underpin manifest reality. So, according to Keylontic science, all of existence is structured via morphogenetic fields or blueprints of energy and consciousness. These fields govern how matter and life manifest at all scales. So, in this context, light isn't just illumination, but the fundamental substance of creation, often referred to as electromagnetic radiation plus consciousness. So, light architects work to repair, activate, or recalibrate these structures, particularly during Earth's ascension cycles, which we know that we just kind of had a restart of that when we hit the Schumann resonance 0 point recently and started spiraling the opposite sort of direction. Okay, so two, DNA activation and ascension mechanics. So the workshops delve deeply into DNA template activation, especially the multi-strand DNA model, where humans have up to 12 and beyond strands of DNA connected to various dimensions of consciousness. The goal is to reawaken dormant codes within the DNA that allow for higher dimensional awareness, healing, and mastery over physical and non physical realms. This aligns with the Emerald Tablets idea of awakening the sleeping parts of the self to achieve spiritual mastery and eventual liberation from cycles of death and rebirth. Three, grid work and planetary stewardship. So, a major aspect of the Architects of Light training is grid work. So, grid work is actively participating in the healing and stabilization of Earth's energy grids, such as the planetary crystalline grid, for example. Practitioners are taught to interface with these grids to help anchor higher frequencies and assist the Earth and humanity in timeline stabilization and ascension. This reflects those concept of guardianship, of sacred knowledge and stewardship of the earth, where the spiritually awakened take responsibility not just for personal enlightenment, but for collective upliftment as well. So part four is the Christos mission, or the Christos, spelled Kristos. Keylontic science uses the term Christos, which is said to be the original divine blueprint for human and planetary evolution. This ties into the architects of light by focusing on restoring the organic ascension path and helping humanity realign with its original divine purpose. This is reminiscent of the tablet's teachings about returning to harmony with the divine law of the universe to achieve immortality and spiritual enlightenment. And five, advanced energy techniques. So the workshops often include Merkaba mechanics, light body activation, and plasma body exercises. These are aimed at not only healing, but expanding consciousness beyond the 3D paradigm. By activating the light body, practitioners seek to reconnect with higher dimensional aspects of self and to navigate interdimensional realms. In those teachings, the Merkaba, or light body vehicle, is also a key tool for interdimensional travel and spiritual ascension. While Keylontic science uses a modern metaphysical and technical language, such as grids, morphogenetic fields, and DNA templates, the underlying principles are strikingly similar to what Thoth imparts in the Emerald Tablets, such as above, so below. Both systems describe a fractal holographic universe where working on the self reflects in the world and vice versa. Spiritual serenity, emphasis on personal mastery as a pathway to greater cosmic service, and transformation of form, the evolution of the human form, light body, and DNA activation as essential to transcending mortality and achieving union with the all. So, in summary, the Architects of Light workshop is a modern expression of ancient wisdom aimed at empowering individuals to act as conscious co creators and guardians of both personal and planetary evolution. It dives deep into the mechanics of ascension, blending high level esotericism with practical energetic techniques. The vision is one of active participation in the cosmic plan, much like Thoth's invitation to seekers to rise into their roles as beings of light and wisdom. Okay, that was a mouthful. Oh, scalar waves. Yeah. Yeah. No, a lot of activity, I guess you could say, in the grids for sure. I mean, obviously changing of seasons and everything as well too. Like here it is spring, so we're starting to really feel the shift, have some days where it's very warm, it feels like a summer day, like over 20 degrees, but then other days, like even today, it's not necessarily cold, but it's very gray and rainy, so we'll have some of that flip-flopping before we're kind of in the clear for some good weather here. But looking forward to having that. Yeah, I have been just kind of really focusing on my creativity a lot lately, trying to harness all of the sort of energy and emotion of all the changes and things that are taking place and just put it into my art, um, which is good because that's something I've struggled with for pretty much all my life. I'm always kind of back and forth between like if I'm actually using the energy properly to make things or, transmuting properly or, you know, uh, not doing that basically. So it's good that so it's good that I'm, at least using the energy appropriately at this time and hopefully can maintain that momentum and yeah. Yeah. True. That is true. That would be cool. I always love seeing those like random videos of like van life people. I'll see different sometimes I'll watch those shows of like people that have transformed like a van or like an RV type thing what you're saying into, like on the road home type situation and yeah, it seems like more and more people are doing that, honestly, just as a whole, which I can understand why. I mean, I would like to have a tiny home one day so that it's like easier for to move around if I want to eventually at some point, but like I wouldn't necessarily want it to have to move it around much, but like, if I did need to for some reason, at least it's like something you can do. You just pick up and move your house, but like Uh, I don't know. That's so far in the future probably that I haven't really given it that much thought. I just want a big garden, I know, and a hot tub. But yeah, 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 definitely. The land, yeah. True, like a guest house type thing. No, it makes sense. I'm only gonna host people outside. I'm not gonna I need to have a tiny home so I don't have to let any of my family members stay over, except for maybe my mom. She gets whatever she wants, but everybody else can fuck off, honestly. I can if they wanna bring a tent or something and sleep outside, I don't give a shit, but we're not doing that. I mean, they can like I said, I would have, like, events outside and stuff, and, like, you guys can visit, but that's about it. Like and then they can't be mad because I don't have the space for it, so they can't even, like, be like, "Well, I mean, I got a tiny home, so" Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. No, it's funny because I always, like, wanted to host a lot when I was young, like, I was lucky enough that my parents, like, let me have a bigger birthday party when I was, like one when I was 12 and then another when I was, like, 15 or 16? 15 it was probably 16. I think it was probably my sweet 16, yeah. So they let me have, like, bigger parties for those 2 sort of birthdays, and I always loved, like, doing all the planning and then, having everybody there and stuff, like, I love hosting, but I don't really wanna host, like, at my house because then I have to clean everything, and, um yeah, we're just too old for that. I just turned 30. If I want to host, we're gonna get a venue and we're gonna have people like specifically to help clean up and do setup and tear down, and then I don't have to do all that because that shit is a job. But I do love hosting like events and shit, it is fun. But yeah, just elsewhere. Oh my god. Exactly. Right? Because then how are you supposed to party and enjoy yourself when you're just thinking about, "Oh, I gotta clean this," and then you're just cleaning half the time because you're like, "Ah, trying to clean it up." Just ruins the whole experience. Like, Oh my god, that shit's hilarious. I can't. I can't. I am that person, dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so
So this
funny. I
is
get
where
that from
I
my
got it.
mom too. She used to be the same way. We used to have barbecues and she'd be doing the same thing. She'd be cooking and cleaning the whole time. I'm like, are you gonna come eat some food and smoke a joint or what's going on?
See, Rex, I gotta jump in now. Your mom must be a Gemini or something, because I'm like
She is a
cleaning up.
Gemini.
Thank you. I knew it because I said this is the Capricorns are having their way, but the Geminis, we are definitely cleaning up as we go and watching you like, put that out over there. Don't put that there. Up. Give me that. Hand me that. Put that down. Get over here. Stand over here. Don't stand here. Can't drink in this room. Drink. But I'm glad the collective is on the same page. That's all I'm gonna say. Rex said a mouthful in the beginning. Jonathan backed it up, and I said, "Well, here we go. We're finally all in the right place. We're talking big houses, small houses, all houses. So y'all are seeing it all. Yeah. Oh well, listen. We were either listen. I think Rex said it eloquently. Either we were doing it wrong or we were doing it right. Hmm.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's cool. True. Yeah, I think I tried goji berries when I was like 15 or 16 for the first time. So it would have been what? Yeah, 14, 15 years ago. But like, I'm not a huge fan, honestly. They get stuck in my teeth and it's all like stuck, like sticky and it just, I get frustrated. I can't do it. Maybe, okay, see there, maybe I'll try that sometime. Yeah. They're sticky. Yeah. So I'm like, hey. Oh. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put it in a smoothie too. Like maybe if I rehydrate them and then because I like smoothies a lot, like in the morning. Ah, shit, I forgot my frozen fruit in the freezer. Ah, oh well. I'll have to get some more. That sucks. There was like two whole bags unopened. I was gonna bring them, but I was just like running out of there. I was like, I don't want to see anybody. I'm just getting my shit. I'm going. Yes, yep, we got all the essentials, dude. I'm good. It's fine.
Rex, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, bless the fruit and whoever can have it, but I'm gonna be doubling back on some. Hey, give me my fruit too, by the way.
I know. I'm so
No,
annoyed that I forgot, but it's okay. It's
you know,
funny too because before I left, I was like, "Let me just remember to get those 2 bags of fruit." I didn't even open them before I left, and then once I got in there, it was just the energy is so like off and like gross. I'm just like tunnel vision, getting my stuff and leaving. You know.
yeah, let them have the fruit after all. Yeah, let them have. I mean, listen, I can't tell you you don't gotta move that way sometimes, but it's it does end up in alignment. You know, so just keep going. They can have the fruits. It's all good. It's plenty enough coming. Whatever you leave behind, you get back. Well, hold on, I gotta say it right. What's left in love is kept in love. So you know you'll get it back more than you can handle as long as you don't curse it. You know what I mean? Let them have that. And see, I'm seeing it bigger than that. It's feeling like owning a smoothie shop or something. Like it's that it's art or something. I don't know. It's really however you see it and whatever you want in this energy anyway. Here comes you. You ain't even up for business, Rex and Jonathan asking for a discount. You see what I mean?
Oh. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what pretty much every successful business does, right? Like.
You right.
Hmm.
Well, it depends. If you're gonna go there, just don't stop smoking. I've been a professional voiceover for a while, and I will say most of my career I didn't smoke, you know, but later, like now, that's out the window. But it definitely can like affect your range depending on but like somebody who already has like a voice like mine that's like gritty or raspy or low or you know it's just I'm already living in that range. So the smoke, I can say this, like if I'm gonna do an audition, like I try to avoid like before or around the time that I'm doing it, just so I don't have a lot of but I'm glad you're getting into the voiceover work. That's crazy. I don't know if we talked about that before or not, but I mean it makes perfect sense. Yeah, you could do video games. You could do commercial. Commercial is where everybody's entry is. Everybody comes in on that because it's simple. And a lot of the auditions nowadays, you know, are saying they just want somebody that sounds like the guy or gal next door. Or they want, they don't want it to sound announcery. I see that in literally almost every audition I got nowadays. So it's anybody, if you could sound like a concerned friend or a mature friend or, a smart neighbor, like those are the voices that are like, usually making it to picture or on screen. Conversational. Yes. Yes. Oh man, if you would have told me you were doing voiceover, I would have told you to cancel all of that and I can, you know, help you out, tell you where you need to go or what you need to do. But um it's I mean, I've been doing it's changed so much now, but I've been doing it for a long time. And just recently my well, probably a couple of years now, they're doing voice cloning with the AI and everything. So even if you wanted to just lend your voice to that and sign up for that, and basically what happens in that is you do a couple passes, they get a clone of your voice, and then you are put on the website with a profile. It automatically tells you, what range you could fit in, what types of commercials if you want to do. Like you said, I've done so many explainer videos. I've done employee onboarding videos. Um, I've done, I mean, there's political campaigns around that time. There's like so many different. So you just kind of check off what you'd like your voice to be used for, or leave off what you wouldn't. It'll change the accent for you now. It'll do whatever. You know what I mean? It's a totally changed game now. So that's gonna cost you 4,000. That's just gonna cost you 4,000. But I'll get with you. You know what I'm saying? Come Trinity, I get with you. You know what I'm saying? No, but we got to say hi to Just and come Trinity. What's good, Rack? Rack's hand is up.
In the comments, I just posted a link to this website called Backstage. It has open job positions for voiceover roles. That's something that I started looking into about a year ago, but I haven't done anything with it personally. But yeah, if you're looking for open roles for voiceover jobs, probably a good resource. There's roles from like all over the world. Some are open to only like nationwide, some are international, worldwide. So just look for those, of course, or ones that are based in the US or things like that. But yeah, there's like over 400 open listings on that like website in particular, which I think that's the one that I was initially looking at for stuff like that when I first kind of had considered doing stuff like that. But yeah, so I put that in the comments, if you want to make note of it and take a look through when you have some time. I don't think that you need any like course or some shit that somebody's trying to sell you or whatever. You should just find some open listings that look good, and um, you could probably find a cheaper way to do a demo. You could probably do a demo at home if you have a mic, honestly. Um, so I don't think that you need much else, honestly. But yeah.
No, Rex is right. You definitely don't need to pay. Now, I was gonna say you don't need to pay for the course. No shade to the course, but they gouging. But and backstage, I've definitely used. I ain't. I'm gotta be honest. I don't know how long I stayed on there. It has a membership thing or a monthly fee. And you can submit to however you want. I don't know how many I might have booked one or two from there. I don't know. But in the world of voiceover, I mean, you could definitely, sign up and use that. And if you this is what my advice would be. Um go on YouTube right now. Well, not right now, but go on YouTube in your free time and look up uh well, you're a black male voiceover demos and see what you hear. If you find one you like, copy it. Meaning like if they're gonna have a range. You usually don't want to go over a minute, with your demo because agents aren't listening that long. But um just find one you like and mirror it as much as you can. If they've got like 3 commercials, do 3 demo commercials. When I say demo, make up a product, or you can make up a scenario. You're an actor, Jonathan. You can make up script and copy and all of that. And then it's just basically after that, making sure your voice doesn't get overpowered by like any background music you add or any sound effects. I'll drop the link to my demo or one of my demos in the purple pill so you can like check it out. But like I said, you may want to hear the male voices and see. But just listening to you, yeah, I mean, commercial and video games, um, would be easy. And then it's character work, just depending. A lot of times when you audition for a character, sometimes they'll send you over, a visual of that character, and you'll say, oh man, looking at this character, it looks like it sounds like this, and then you try to make that up. The only thing about like character work is like being able to stay in that tone, that voice, that pace, that pitch for every type of performance. Like if that character sings, you stay in that, same pitch or whatever, or in that same character mode. Or if that character, raps, or if, just all the things that character can do. And you just got to be able to stay in that, that flow. But yeah, I wish we would have, talked about the voiceover. The voiceover is easy enough. It's. True. Well, we got the answer. We wanted to know what would grow. But grow it did. You know what I mean? So that's dope. That's crazy. But I mean, yeah, if I would have known, like, yeah, we could definitely talk surface level voiceovers. I mean, because that's what's been my bread and butter. Um, and like I said, it's been a different game now with the AI and learning how that is adjusting the industry of it all. But like I said, it's you definitely could get a couple of profiles going and just really practicing your range and becoming really good at self-directing. Like I said, just listen to as many demos as you can, and there'll be terrible ones and you'll be like, that was whack, I don't want my stuff to sound like that. And then you'll be like, I like this one, it should sound like this. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to find your style and pace and pitch and all of that. But yeah, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yep, that's usually how it goes. And like if you're trying to, and I don't even do like a lot of my work has been so like straightforward. So a lot of like commercial work and or like concerned mother. I've done a lot of stuff in the healthcare realm. Um, so it just depends, it just depends on what it calls for. But once you're in touch with, the range and the characters that you're comfortable making or doing, I mean, you good to go. Oh, I got to show you a guy to follow on Instagram. Actually, he would be your best bet if you're gonna, spend any money, and he's not hitting you over the head. But he could definitely help you reach for any like character voices or performances. So I'll make sure I'll give you that info too.
Also, send it to me. Also. No, I mean, I've never done it. I was just kind of taking interest in it at first, but it seemed like I just wasn't sure about how to really go about or if it'd be worth it, honestly, like for me to put the time into it. But yeah, I mean, I've been a singer since I was a child, so like I think I can, voice act. Obviously it would have to be like certain roles and things that make sense, but what initially made me curious about it was there was a listing that I saw for there was some company in LA was looking for voice actors for this show that was set in a dispensary actually. And they were looking for like a young female like bud tender voice, which is funny because I've literally done that job and stuff like that. I'm still in the cannabis industry, so I just felt like it would have made sense. But that's the first time I even considered doing that. That was like just over a year ago. So obviously I didn't go forward with it because I, again, just unsure about how to even really approach that. But um, now that I'm, have a lot more time not being in corporate cannabis and like doing freelance stuff, it's definitely something I've considered looking more into. But, my life has been completely turned upside down over the past like 8 months. So, more important things have taken the lead and focus. But yeah, that would probably be something that would be good for me to consider looking into since I have a voice that can be used, you know?
Yes, you do. Yes, you have a voice. So yeah, for sure. We can chat on about. Like I said, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'll send whatever resources. I've been with the same agency for 15 years or more. So a lot of my work comes through audition from them, but there's always as you start to listen to more commercials. Now, see, I was always the person that never paid for to skip commercials and stuff. I had to hear all of them. I've caught myself a couple of times, which is always weird. Like I'll be like, oh shoot, that's my spot, and I'll hear it. But it's just literally to keep seeing what type of voices are making it across air, or what they, you know, what's catching, what catches me, what kind of voice catches me, like what bank product is this lady getting ready to make me go try out just because her voice sounds, good, or like what burger from a restaurant. That's how it, started with me. So I would always be paying attention to the commercials, the voices that they're using, and then, try to find myself in between, or just try to be the voice I didn't hear. So a lot of times, you know, that was easy because it was like, oh, that voice doesn't sound like my voice, or that voice is, but definitely, if it's coming up on you to try it now, this is the time to try it. The energy is like I can't stress this enough. The energy is so new. It's like sweeping in right now. It's a burst. It's like a big burst of energy to give you, whatever you're trying to do at this point. As long as you're in the flow and you've been working towards it, or even and a lot of the work is of the mind. So it's like, what have you been thinking about and what has come back to you, you know? And Jonathan say you say you woke up and it's just been on your mind. Well, okay, then start looking into it. And as you can see, we already following the flow, and I'll help you, you'll help me.
I've just been like hyper focused on making these oracle cards and stuff in terms of trying to create a product. Um, but I mean, I'm already done the writing parts at least, so now I need to move on to the images. But
It's the images. It's the images that's not holding you, but I don't know. I feel like soon you'll find it's do you draw yourself?
I do. I draw and I paint, and I will like make some of them myself, like by hand, or use some things that I've already made in the past. But I need to make some new ones, so I figure I'll probably just end up using AI for a lot of the images,
Mhm.
for like specifically for things, because it'll just make more
And
sense
then
to be
you tweak it.
consistent, like to
Yeah.
look consistent, throughout it. Um, but yeah, so.
Yeah, you'll be tweaking it with the AI. So it's a certain style you're looking for. And I don't know, it'll come. And
Yeah, I'm
the
not worried about that. It's just been my
okay.
main focus between that and painting and then just my original music and stuff. But obviously, like, I'm starting to get towards the point where I have to start considering, jobs that I can do that'll actually make money right away and not like a couple years from now. So,
Yeah, yeah, yes. And but we never know how far out we are from the money, which, to be honest, the way the universe works is floating around, literally. It's the energy. So, if it's there and you can accept it, it'll be there in the form it may not even look like money. It could be the oracle cards, you know what I mean? And who knows? But it's definitely tied into whatever's pulling at us. I think I
well,
said it
it's
last week.
that, but it's the energy work that's tied into that too, because then it's like, okay, well then I can offer, oracle readings and different kinds of things that are very unique because they're my own cards and things like
Yeah.
that, right? They're not just cards that everybody has or whatever, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that too, but this is like part of me crafting my energy offering business, right? So,
Yeah. And I'm just noticing the different cards that are going around now. Like they are starting to become almost personalized, and I'm I'm going out on a limb, but I'm thinking that's because we'll understand that it's your energy that's, you know. even pulling this information from these different tools and artifacts and things. So for sure, just keep on dancing around that. Literally, like that's definitely a thing.
No, no, you could go ahead, finish your thought. I'm not in a rush to speak. I'm over here listening. So you go ahead, finish your thought. It sounded like you were in the middle of a sentence, literally in the middle of a sentence, and was like, just your hand is up. Let me get through it right now. All right. I just wanted to say hi to everybody. Um, I resonated with so much that was spoken about. One thing that didn't resonate as much was when Jonathan was like, "Oh, you know what? Let's just forget the lesson today. Let's have Rex stop reading so eloquently." I was like, "Come on, man." But everything else, I mean, when you guys were
Just said I'm here for the lesson. But guess what, Jonathan? She already there, like skirt.
no, no, it's not even like that, but yeah, I was enjoying the lesson. But no, I love you guys and I loved literally everything you guys were talking about. I mean, from inner child healing, I was like, yes, I actually woke up and wrote a song because yesterday all I was thinking about was my inner child. And that popped up like 4 or 5 times this week. And you know, I I pretty much crashed out not too long ago, or almost had a complete crash out. So Rax, like when you're talking about what you've been going through the last 8 months, I'm like, yeah, that's been the energy. But I've been thinking about just camping somewhere, like vanning. I have a van, I have a lot of things in there. It looks like I could potentially live in there, but I don't. Um, so these are the even down to the tiny house, like these are things that I've been thinking about regularly throughout the week. And also, which was interesting because I put two and two together when you guys were talking about it, how it related so much to what I have been thinking. Because my sister's getting married soon, and we didn't have the best relationship. It was kind of like, the relationships with her sister, Rack's sisters. And she's wanting me to wear certain colors. She's like, you got to be on the thing and you got to do this. And I'm like, oh man, like I can't see it happening. the way that they see it. But you know, it just brought me back to what you guys were talking about with the tiny houses, and like Jonathan's like, "Oh, I want a big house," and she wanted a jacuzzi. So like I feel like giving up something that you want for others wouldn't be the right thing. But like I've had thoughts like Rax, like, man, I don't even want to make more money because I know my family's gonna be hounding me about it. But like in reality, I want to make more money and I know how. And like you guys were talking about, voice acting, and I was like, man, if I wanted to make more money and I knew how, but I felt like there were so many reasons why I also didn't actually want to make money, then, I would be actually self sabotaging. And all I really had to do is learn how to set boundaries with people or set boundaries within my own field of energy. But sometimes that's hard, but it's like, yeah, well, you do the hard things so you don't have to deal with those hard feelings when you realize you didn't do what you actually wanted to do, which is what you actually should have done. But that takes healing. And, that sometimes feels harder, but it has a better, uh, more fulfilled feeling that comes later. But it's like that's a lot. But the voice acting, that was dope because I've actually been thinking about that a lot. Like that's actually what I do. What alignment?
I told y'all I'm collective. I said it.
Do you guys listen to Hertz frequencies when you go to sleep, or like subliminals and things like that? Me too.
No, I'm listening to this, and y'all. Of course, I sleep with crystals, and I'm in the 888 hertz and a 432 hertz now. I sleep in those. I either go to sleep to the hertz music or a like a rife tone. So I do that. That's part of the nightly routine,
Or
actually.
water sounds are good too.
Yeah, rain is in the room all at all times. I got one phone just raining. So it literally that stays at all times. And I don't know. I me myself are overdoing it, if you want to know the truth. But it's only because I realize how much energy comes through and passes through. Um and so I have to just Why is community laughing at me? Like, it's true. But I'm telling you that we're all doing, either you've got crystals if you're in this room, you've been listening to either on repeat or occasionally Hertz music. You've been doing something to pull yourself towards the magnetic force. That's why I always say
Saging and grounding
yes,
too with smoke.
yes. The smoke is
Walking
everything.
barefoot.
Yes. Listen, come out now. Indigo child, like come out. Say what you've been doing. I mean, I know that I always say this. The money is to live a spiritual life or to like spiritual upkeep. It's expensive in the way that you need to be able to have your time, so you need to essentially be able to have your freedom, so in everybody's mind trying to do with gifts they have with what the gifts you have and making that pay, like you're already on the right track with that. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Even if it seems small, I mean, just even the idea, your mind, you're like, I need to become sustainable in my gift. Well, as soon as you start thinking like this, the universe says, "Oh, really, Jess? Okay, girl, I see you. Okay, Rex. Jonathan, my guy." As soon as your thoughts go there, then the universe's ability to you connecting to the flow of what the universe has to offer to everyone, by the way, that's what happens. You connect to it, you see. And then you get this thought and that thought. And the consciousness is just passing through. And this is one thing I do a lot of it because it can get crazy. And you're like, are these my thoughts or your thoughts or her thoughts? Or when you're reading everybody's energy constantly in the room, like you have to really start to decipher, you know, what is yours and what just may be passing through, and usually the things that keep coming to you in different variations and fashions are the thing that you shouldn't ignore. And if you have to skip that, then the method is whatever terrifies you, just do it. That's the hack. That's the super hack. That's the super hack. That'll have you probably, quantum leaping before you can even, I'm telling you, it's already happening to so many people. They're in a place and they're like, wait a second. Oh my God, I thought that and that really happened. I'm really here. And you're like, yeah, yep.
You better wish me luck. I got my first performance live next month for
Mm,
since like for a couple years of not
mm.
performing consistently, and I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and I didn't even think that I was going to get a spot at this open mic cuz this with the Paprika Festival. They do like a curated open mic for emerging artists and stuff. You have to apply for it. Anyways, applied for it, didn't think I was gonna get it, and then last week they emailed me and told me that I have a spot, so now I have to commit to it. And I'm like,
Rex,
oh God.
Rex, and I ain't gonna front you. It's the sun. The sun came out on you while you were saying that. The sun card. So
Well,
I
like my
mean,
partner's a Leo now, and so it's like, he's been a huge help in this whole transition. And um yeah, I guess, the sun and strength definitely resonant energies around. So
oh yeah. Listen, I can't make it up. You know what I mean? All I can do is be there and witness what happens. And when I say that, just yeah, it's your moment. So I'm so glad you're owning it. And I will say, you're gonna get the bug. You're gonna get the bite. Like that energy of performing. That does something differently. When you have the crowd and you're giving so freely your energy, and then how people are touched by your energy you're gonna be coming back like, oh, I'm performing every week now. Don't worry, we ain't gonna talk about you, girl. Be like, okay,
that's so
girl.
funny. It's
Yeah.
funny because I realized there's a whole bunch of open mics just up the street from my new place now because I'm like closer to the heart of the city. So there's like a whole bunch of like little bars and clubs and stuff are just up the street. And I walked by this block when I was getting groceries, and realized that they had like signs out that one was like karaoke and open mic, and then the other one was like open mic. And then I realized I'm like, I follow these guys on Instagram, this place called Function Bar TO. And then I realized that they have like a live band even on Sundays and Tuesdays or Thursdays. It's like twice a week. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I can walk there. That's perfect. But yeah, I don't know.
Man,
Anyways,
that's awesome. Well, see, just keep us posted, please. And, post online. I know it gets kind of creepy when you're posting about yourself and all the things that you doing. But I'm gonna be honest, at this point, let them go blind. Please kill them with kindness. Listen, kill them with kindness, but please kill them. You see, like, yeah. I mean, well, Jonathan says it sounds more absolute, but the thing is, it's just time for you to, all of us. I mean, and this is, like I said, the collective read of the room. Like, we aren't being just, you know what I'm saying? We aren't being just told, just, you got to step into the light and step into that energy. And that energy, I mean, let's be honest, who wants to be famous? Right? Who
no, I just want the benefits without the
wants
recognition.
to
Well,
be, but
without
see,
the creepy part of it. Yeah.
yeah, but you, mm,
Lord.
mm, you're the teacher.
The teacher appears when the student is ready. But yes, the best teachers are students as well. Like, nobody, like the best teachers know that they can't know everything and that they're just, kind of doing their job or their sort of translation of whatever the information is, but are still open to like learning.
Constantly. And me myself, like, for me, I'm just like, I talk a lot in the spaces. I say what comes to mind when I'm supposed to say it and all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm just here observing. I'm not even from here, babe. I'm just literally observing how energy and words and heart-centered, you know, reaction works. And I'm just like, okay, this is so I mean, it still is impressing, that this is what it is, and you're finding it every day. Like you're finding the flow every day. Things that you've pushed yourself away from are coming back around. The conversation has been about inner childhood. That's all we are. You know what I mean? What's the difference between the children and us now is debt regrets. That's the difference. The children coming out, they don't have the debt and regrets we have. And then, they'll figure that out. But that's why, the conversation has always been about the children being like them and their wonderful knowledge of nothing and everything. They're not afraid to learn nothing and everything. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. And you just keep going. That's it. You learn. All I can say is you get to a level of knowledge and then you're just like, oh wow, I just better go out the door with love. That's it. Like you literally get to learning so much. And then you like, man, let me just go out the door with love, because there's so much that people don't know, you don't know, you know what I mean? And it doesn't even happen for you sometimes until you meet the right people and have the right conversations and can compare notes, about what's going on. So, me, I always be telling y'all like, yeah, man, we can keep meeting up and talking, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, which means better, which means you just won't be able to ignore what you know. You just won't be able to ignore what you know. And then you got to move in that knowledge every day. And I ain't going to lie, that's what becomes difficult sometimes, because the 3D, you got to be doing your thing. You have to be doing your spiritual upkeep. You got to be connecting with nature. You've got to be walking. You've got to be active. Movement is so important in all of this, like just literal movement. So that's why a lot of your ideas are coming when you're walking or at the gym, or, not by mistake, it's by design. So one day at a time, deconstructing everything you know and building something new. That's what it ends up being, you know. And I'm just learning that people. I just think about all the emotions that I've gone through in this, and then that helps me in like talking to others and understanding others, because when we talk in reality, it's like, oh honey, that's far from gone. Reality, what's that? Now let's talk about what you really want, what you really see, what you really feel. Let's talk about what you really know. And that's what these conversations are. Basically, that we know is much more, and here we are finding each other and connecting on that fact, and growing from that. So I'm just, I'm always say it is what it is, because it's what's happening. It's what's resonating towards you, is what you're resonating towards. Um, and it is change. It's like each time I'm being changed, you're being changed, just even on an energetic level. So, man, y'all, yeah. I want to ask you something real quick. Are you prompting them into your AI artwork? So they're already there. They're already there. Are you telling me the truth? Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. Mm. So it's reading it's reading the aura field. You see the AI. Just so you know. Um. Yeah. I mean, well, we do have the CIAs, the DEA, DIA. We do have all those agencies, pretending to do certain things. But at the end of the day, the electromagnetic field, um, it can be reached. You know what I mean? It can be reached. And it just, if you're in your just most open form, well, you're in a creative mode because you're prompting into the system, right? So you're saying me, cartoon form, that I don't know your prompt, but it's reading, you know what I mean? You in the state of this, and then boom, what's likely to be around this individual based on this creative language? Surprise, you know, here it is. And I told you, yeah, and I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's the scalar waves, it's um the mesh that we talked about early on in the other, you know, episodes that you're controlling and, like moving around and consciously, like, or mostly now unconsciously creating. But it's still there, is what I'm trying to say. And when I saw that one of those posts you put in, I was like, yo, I know he didn't prompt that crow in there, but there's that crow again. And I was just like, okay, well, maybe he'll listen to me this time. No, I was just like, it's gonna be there. I know. No, 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 I know. I'm just kidding with you. I know that what we talked about the book, we already, everything that we've been talking about, again, is your charge of like just giving out your story to the world, to the masses. So however you end up in many different ways putting it out, or continuing to put it out, I should say, you're doing it slowly but surely,
I started writing a book too.
Stop wasting our time, Jonathan. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, quit playing. Quit. The message is this: quit fucking around, seriously, and do your shit just like that. Like, and you know what to do. Okay. Sneaky little.
My bad. Is Would y'all prefer me just jump in instead of putting my I'm just trying to be cooperative. Oh. No, no, I had my hand up. Oh. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. Okay. So, oh damn, what was I gonna say? Um, mm. No, it was something about the Ravens because I've been seeing ravens lately as well. And it's like every time I walk up to my window, every time I walk up to the door, I'll see one fly out of a tree and start flying. And I'm like, that keeps happening over and over again. But I don't know. Maybe your ravens connecting with my ravens. I don't know. Um okay. I was gonna say something else, but it's it's gone now. So I'm sorry about that. Well, you guys would listen, if you guys are in a flow and then something pops up in my head, I'm not trying to break your flow. Like, hey, wait a second, you know? So I want to I want you to get your whole thought out and maybe I'll remember. But yeah, thanks. True. No, I didn't. Sorry. Still lost.
Well, I think I'm gonna just play a song for you guys, I guess, here, and then kind of like head out. If we're kind of done with the Keylontic science part of things, because I should be making images and practicing DJing and doing all that stuff. But yeah, if you guys want, I can play a song before I go. And
I just remembered something that I wanted to say to you earlier. Um, I think that your voice, you have a really dope voice. I think that you playing like Daria or maybe like Tina from Bob's Burgers, like something like that where they're kind of like, do you guys know Daria?
Yeah, she could definitely do Daria. Daria
Yeah.
is right there in the and that's like deadpan type comedy, but um yeah, no, you got a dope voice, and I mean, it all makes sense to hear you say DJing and your cards and all of that. I mean, it's all layered. You will be at a rave, pulling cards and spinning music and throwing cards, and it gets like that.
Yeah, I'm excited for, being able to do more events and stuff like that. Mungo's Hi-Fi is coming up next, or in a couple weeks. What am I saying? It's May now. It's on May 16th. It's actually the day after my performance, so that'll be cool. They're doing a show at Motorista Studio, just not too far from my new spot over here, actually, so that'll be good. First time that Eva Lazarus is coming from the UK, so I think some of her bandmates or like DJs have been here, but I don't think that she has, so it'll be cool to see them live. I love Mungo's Hi-Fi. They do some really, really dope and I mean she's just a dope MC, but the whole everything, the instrumentation, is fire. They're from the UK. They're like a reggae dub kind of group. Um, and yeah, I was talking to some of the uh, event producers the other day about how I'm doing my Canna Barista service that I'm trying to finalize a couple different licenses for so that I can offer that for private events and stuff. They also host a series of events called the Canna Kick It events where they basically have a bunch of like glass companies and then extract cannabis companies that will come out and do a show. And they'll do, it's like the same people that are running the Mungo's Hi-Fi show that do that regular series, and they also have a festival that they started last year called Reflections Fest. And yeah, there's just like tons of networking, there's tons of people doing really cool stuff that's in the same realm as all the things that I want to do that I've had in my network for like 5 years, but I haven't, been in a position to be able to really be as involved as I can be now. So yeah, just gotta keep moving forward, you know. But yeah. Okay. Well, you'll have to let me know if you can hear it in 1 second here. Why you gotta always ask for change? Why you gotta always ask me for change? Why you gotta rearrange my brain? I've been feeling like I don't insane, and I keep looking for the meaning of grace. Every time I do, I try to attain. I sustain the mainframe again. Remember that I need to change. Remember that it's just a game. No money to ascertain, and I just wanted to contemplate. I'm trying to get inside of me the cool, the purest form of peak. That's what I need to see. Need it to believe, not you or you, just me. My soul and I just feed, my soul and I just feed. The ether deeply creeps the shadows into sea. Sometimes I do not sleep. The demons circling me, waiting for my mind to leave, waiting for my mind to cease. Waiting for my mind to sleep. I'll send you in a circle, and I'll wrap you up in gold. I'll take you to the country, and I'll watch your treasure grow. You see, I do not care for objects, spirit I cannot hold. So when you let me move you freely, it's what I'm looking for. So come and open up the door. I pour my heart a little more. I pour my heart a little more. I pour my heart. Now I turn on that TV. An instant's gone another day. This is the spell we need to break. I said wake up till my last pay. The cognitive dissonance isn't in the battle we must face. How can you be? All right, I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but you get an idea.
Wow. I really would love to hear the actual song. It was a little hard. It was a little hard to hear, just a little bit. So, but I could hear the vocals in the back too, you know. Yeah, it sounds really pretty. I like your voice. I definitely want to hear the song. Like you you definitely teased it. So, is that on anything?
No, I actually I took the one song that I did have on all streaming platforms down because I want to switch distributors. So I'm gonna just uh re-release the first song that I ever put out, and then it'll just go on my EP. But I have an EP worth of like material that I've been putting together for a couple of years that I'm just like now starting to finish. So I'll be starting to roll those out like as singles basically over the next, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. I mean, I was shocked, Rex. I was like, oh, okay. And this is like a blended genre jazz. The hip hop, he's definitely like Jonathan said, the sultry, tone and lyrics. Yeah, I'm waiting to hear some up front now, up close now, so I can like, you know, really take it
Yeah.
in.
No, it's not even that's just a demo too. Like I actually just got a new deal with like a new engineer I'll be working with, and finishing out all of my current demos with her so that they're consistent for the end project, and then I'm planning to also, pitch those for sync and start using those to perform with as well too, so I can start, yeah, just kind of promoting that. But
I'm so glad you mentioned sync because yeah, that's where a lot of it will easily live, in the film and TV sync. So congrats to you and thank you for sharing that with us. You're on the right track. It's the music, it's the cards, uh, and it's the artwork.
yeah, no, definitely. It's been a lot to try to find the right balance of time with everything, especially because I was just heavily in my cannabis career for the past 5 years. So I hadn't had as much time, especially once my store got turned into a corporate location that, I felt like I could really focus on and like hone in on a lot of my art. So it kind of took the back seat for like a while. But I think, yeah, just like separating from that company and then, having time and energy to focus back into my actual passions. Not that cannabis isn't, but that needs to be done more on my terms as opposed to like someone else's, is what I come to understand. Yeah, just like, yeah, it's nice to be able to pursue this stuff again more consistently and actually have the energy for it, not feel like I'm being drained by corporate entity.
I do. I have a closing. Okay. Um I really would love to hear, Jonathan, I would really love to hear one of those accents that you were talking about. You were like, your daughter said, she can't believe that that voice came out of your face, and I want to hear it so bad. You're a pro. What are you talking about? Just go ahead.
Give me Nigerian police officer. Let's go.
Can you do an Indian voice? No, what? For real?
Oh,
Or what about a British accent? That's not racist.
Well, yeah, they're British.
That's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, that's a good call. It's a good call, Jonathan. Don't let people put you on the spot.
Oh man. But this is the thing though too. I want you guys to think about this because I kept hearing inner child healing, inner child things all week this week. And sometimes our inner child just wants to be silly and wants to play and wants you to stop being an adult for a second and stop being so freaking serious and just do something fun. Not think too much about it or not think too much about what others are going to think about it. Just freaking do it because it feels good and it makes you laugh and it makes you happy. So I really wanted to hear it. I really wanted to hear it. So here's the thing. We used to have a space, but ever since Elon is anyway, I don't even want to get into that. But pretty much they stopped doing their space, so now we don't have a space like that anymore. And I was thinking about making a space like that so that we could have a space like that. Not to, do it like how they did it or try to be them in any way. Just give people a space where we can come to and, be our inner child, and do silly things like role play or improv or, use silly voices in a scene and, anything. And we lost that space now. So I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot because we don't really get any place to be more of our inner child because our inner child really is us, but it's the us that is not so filtered to appease people and their feelings or their beliefs. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm feeling called to do it, so hopefully you'll come and I'll get to hear your many impressions.
That's funny.
Yo, I just want to say thank you for the space and brunch for lunch again, hitting on all the points, everything. Uh, it is important to play, but I think we're doing that enough. I think once we do it together, it'll be a different thing. But keep on reaching. Whatever they saying it ain't there, just keep reaching for it. Trust me, it does appear. Bit about boots.
No, not too much. Just, thanks for hosting. I hope everybody has a lovely day and yeah, yeah. Stay hydrated, you know.